Years ago, I found myself aboard a compact cruise ship, its hull cutting through the shimmering blue waters along the jagged coastline of northern Norway. It was almost by chance that I ended up on this vessel, a serendipitous twist in my journey back to my birthplace, Sandnes. Nestled amidst the rugged terrain of northern Norway, the town called to me like a distant memory. Determined to undertake this voyage alone, without the familiar comfort of my parents, it felt like an essential personal quest, a pilgrimage of sorts. The snow-capped fjords loomed majestically against the horizon, while the sea stretched out in a serene expanse. Yet, despite the breathtaking vistas, a persistent unease shadowed my every step. Guilt gnawed at my insides, whispering that I shouldn't be savoring this adventure without my parents by my side. As my funds dwindled, I scrambled to secure a budget-friendly ticket on this modest cruise ship, hoping to find my way back home. But even as the gentle waves rocked the vessel, I found no solace. My thoughts crashed against the confines of my mind like relentless waves. I don't deserve to enjoy this. It's selfish of me since my parents aren't here to share it. Back then, I believed I felt this way out of love for them, but now I recognize the deeper reason behind my turmoil. Throughout my childhood and into my early adulthood, I was ensnared in a relentless cycle of seeking my parents' approval. Joy felt like a hollow echo, forbidden unless I could see it reflected in their expressions. Guilt chewed at my conscience whenever happiness found me in their absence, a consequence of the constant barrage of messages drilled into me during my formative years. Even now, their voices echo in my mind, a haunting refrain. You don't deserve to have a good life. Your brother is the one who deserves it, not you. And if you dare to pursue happiness, you're being selfish. But we will permit you to try, knowing you will fail, because that's the right thing to do. Permit you to see for yourself you don't have what it takes. As the years passed and I matured, I gradually broke free from the chains of guilt my parents had instilled in me. Yet, this newfound freedom was short-lived, as I found it reinforced once again when I embraced Christianity in 2001. In Christianity, the theme of guilt weaves through many teachings and beliefs. It's the weight of feeling undeserving of a good life, as though seeking happiness were a sin in itself. Believers often grapple with the notion that relying on their own abilities is misguided, for they are taught to place no trust in the inherently sinful nature of flesh. The struggle extends to the belief that striving to do good or be good enough is futile, overshadowed by the constant reminder of human imperfection. This pervasive sense of guilt stems from the belief that every human, flawed by sin, is on a predestined path to hell, a somber reality underscored by the doctrine of inherent sinfulness. From this idea arises the belief that we should turn away from earthly attachments and focus on our true home, which is heaven. According to this doctrine, our world is tainted by sin and destined to be consumed by fire. As a result, many feel compelled to suppress their enjoyment of worldly pleasures, burdened by the guilt that comes with indulging in them. Instead, they are encouraged to seek satisfaction and joy in the spiritual realm, the heavenly home that awaits them on their journey beyond this life. But what if this is not what the Bible teaches? Many years ago, I found myself sitting in a dimly lit lecture hall, surrounded by stacks of books and the quiet rustle of note-taking. I was there to study Greek philosophy, a requirement to earn the academic credits needed to embark on my journey in social anthropology. One of the first things that struck me was the striking parallels between the philosophies of Plato and many of the Christian doctrines I had recently embraced. At that time, I didn't question it. As a new Christian, I was told that God had somehow used Plato as a vessel to inspire these ideas. The notion was presented to me in a way that seemed plausible, and I accepted it without much thought. However, years later, as I pored over the pages of church history books in a quiet library corner, my understanding began to shift. I discovered the stark contrast between the Hebraic culture, in which the Bible was conceived, and the Greek culture of Plato. With each turn of the page, it became clear to me that the two were worlds apart, with no historical basis for claiming that Plato was divinely inspired. As I dug deeper into the annals of church history, I was astounded to learn how the early church had been profoundly influenced by bishops and priests who hailed from a Greek Hellenistic background. These individuals, with their flowing robes and scholarly demeanor, seamlessly blended their Platonic beliefs with the teachings of the Bible. As they rose in influence and political power within the church, they systematically eliminated elements they deemed too Jewish or incompatible with Plato's ideas. The more I uncovered, the more I understood the complexity and depth of this syncretism. What unfolds when we read the Bible through the lens of its Hebraic roots? John 3:16 transforms entirely. As a Hellenized Christian, I had always interpreted John 3:16 to mean, "For so has God loved humanity." From this interpretation, I was led to believe that only humans required salvation, which implied that animals had no place in heaven since only humans ascend there when saved. Yet, the scripture doesn't specify that. It reads, "For so has God loved the world," with the original Greek word being cosmos. This indicates that Jehovah sent Yeshua, whom we call Jesus, not solely to save humans, but to redeem the entire world. The term world encompasses everything tangible, from the potted plant on your windowsill to the neighbor living next door. How was this salvation achieved? Yeshua arrived on earth to guide us in mending this physical realm. When viewed from a Hebraic perspective, the Bible reveals a profound truth. Everything around us, humans, animals, and nature, carries a fragment of Jehovah's essence, making them all deserving of rescue rather than destruction. And how do we enact this rescue? The Bible portrays creation as groaning under the weight of sin, but it promises a future when sin will vanish, and we will witness creation in its intended glory. Additionally, the Bible defines sin as the violation of the Torah, the law given to Moses. Yeshua urged us to turn back to the Torah. This is the path to repairing our world, by realigning our lives with the teachings of Moses. This world, as we know it, is far from a paradise. Evidence of its need for healing surrounds us. Hospitals filled with the ill, neighborhoods shadowed by disease, and cemeteries that speak of lives cut short. Yet the responsibility to mend this world rests on our shoulders. Our path to restoration lies not in dreaming of Plato's abstract philosophical heaven, but in turning back to the Torah. This ancient text serves as God's detailed instruction manual, guiding us on how to live as compassionate, responsible humans. From a Hebraic perspective, there's no need for guilt when we indulge in the joys of the physical world or place confidence in our own abilities. Imagine savoring a rich, aromatic meal or relishing the warmth of the sun as it caresses your skin. These are experiences to be embraced, not shunned. Desiring beautiful things, like a finely crafted piece of art, or the comfort of a cozy home, and striving for a fulfilling life are natural aspirations. In fact, feeling guilty about these desires is akin to a form of blasphemy. When you doubt your own worthiness or deny yourself the pleasures of the tangible world, you are, in essence, diminishing the divine craftsmanship present in creation, a reflection of God's own essence.